morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in this crazy world we're living in. So, for those of you who don't know, my name's Vicky Marie. I live in mainland Spain. So, here in Spain, it is just 5 to 10. I'm a little bit late on stream as usual. Feels like I'm late for everything these days. I'm not a person who's normally late, but everything's such chaos in a good way at the moment. A lot of chaos in my life at the moment, but never mind, for good reasons. So, what we're going to talk about today, I thought I was sort of looking at the news, or various, most of my chatters, most of my subscribers are either in the UK, in Australia, or America. So I thought I'd have a little chat about some things from all of those places. Okay, so I think what we're going to start off with is, I'll just say hello to people who are here. Yeah, I know people are just coming in. Look, Nightbot's here. Nightbot's here. You can buy this channel of coffee here, Nightbot. Why does Nightbot keep popping up and says you can buy this channel of coffee but doesn't give the link? One day I'm going to have to, I haven't had time to go into Nightbot and, talk to Nightbot and tell Nightbot they're not doing the right thing. But anyway, at least they're not banning everyone at the moment. So, hi, Daniel. Good morning. Hi, BF. Good morning. Hi, Nightbot. Good morning. And hi, Maria. Good evening to you, I presume, Maria. So, actually, I think we'll start with the Australian case, seeing Maria there. One of the things that I noticed on the news this morning, and I thought it's good news as well, and it's sort of relevant to some of the, different cases we've looked at. When people go missing in mountains, hikers, or people who are just walking over bad terrain, like Jay Slater, lately we've looked at a lot of these cases where people have sort of disappeared, maybe doing something a little bit dangerous. And this first case then that we're going to look at is a case in Australia, in the snowy mountains of Australia. A lady went hiking, like you do on your own in the snowy mountains. Now, I know that people love hiking. A lot of people love hiking. And, it's funny this, isn't it? Because we've talked a lot about people who go maybe walking their dogs and they're not safe. They should be safe because you're walking your dog in a local area. But of course, there are people who go and do these more dangerous things, like hiking in the mountains, which to me is my worst nightmare, to go hiking on your own in the mountains. It seems dangerous thing to do to me. And quite often hikers go missing, don't they? They fall down glaciers or ravines or, and are found years later in some cases, because it's quite tricky then to find their body. And then the mountain rescue teams have to go up and look for them. And they tend to look for them for so long, and then they sort of give up, don't they? Because there must be depending on the terrain, depending on the area, and of course the mountain rescue teams of each individual area, they know how long someone's likely to survive. And they don't go on searching forever, do they? Because, they just can't really, can they, resource-wise? Then there's other people needing rescuing, etc. So anyway, we're going to talk about a case that did end happily in Australia's snowy mountains this week. So it's nice to report on a case that did end happily, because quite often they don't, of course. Hi, Heather. Hi, Kelly. So let's have a look at this. So it's this lady. Lovisa Joberg, who was 48, who is 48 because she's been found safe. And she was found on Sunday in Australia's snowy mountains, nearly 2 weeks after she was last seen and 1 week after she was reported missing. So I think this is a bit of a miracle, really, isn't it? Because if it was 2 weeks since she was last seen, is that when she went on this hike? Has she been up in those mountains for 2 weeks? Well, she's definitely been there for 1 week because that was when she was reported missing. So let's just have a look at Google at the snowy mountains. I mean, I'll never be going there, that's for sure. But I know some people love hikings. Maybe some of you, maybe some of my chatters, maybe you've been to the snowy mountains. Maybe you've hiked. Oh my God. Maybe you've, sorry, I'm just going, oh my God, looking at it. So here you go, mountain range in Australia. I mean, it's beautiful. It's lovely to look at on Google. Yeah, the Snowies. Looks lovely, but would you want to really go hiking there? Why? Sorry, but why? So apparently it's known informally as the Snowies. And it's in southern New South Wales, Australia. Can't do an Australian accent, so. So where is it? Oh, snowy mountains. Is this it? I do love the names in America. What's going on here? Why has it gone to that? I want to see where it is in reference to. So here's New South New South Wales. So where is the snowy mountains? Let's see. Not very good, these maps, are they? Let's try again. So, okay, so it's here in this national seems. I do love the names in Australia. You've got Tom Groggin, Jacobs River, Perisher Valley. I mean, that tells you everything you need to know, doesn't it? It's like Death Valley in America. Why would you want to go hiking near anywhere that's called Perisher Valley? We've got Tumbarumba. They're great. These Australian names. Obviously, they're probably native Australian names. They are brilliant. But it's not that far from Victoria. Some of the cases, look, Ballarat, of course, where we've been looking at the Samantha Murphy case. Bendigo, we've been there so we've been to quite a few places in Australia. We've got Wagga Wagga, Canberra, and this is the snowy mountains right here near Perisher Valley. So I've got to say, it's not much as it looks beautiful. And Moonback, Krakenback, they're brilliant, these names, aren't they? Anyway, as beautiful as it looks, and I do understand why people want to go to these beautiful places, but not alone either. To go hiking on your own somewhere like that it is dangerous to do that, not because of getting attacked necessarily, but because of exactly this. If you fall over, you injure yourself and you're alone. This lady has been extremely lucky to be alive, really, isn't she? She is lucky to be alive. In my opinion, very lucky. But let's just go back then to the article. Hi, Quizzical. Are you saying you've been? Let's have a look. Yes, she has been found. That's what we're talking about. But just just looking at where she was, and we're just saying how lucky she is to have been found at the end of the day. So we're starting with a positive story today. So let's just go back and have a look at her again. So yeah, there she is, very, very lucky. But I wonder if she will do that again. Wouldn't it put you off? So a woman missing for almost 2 weeks in Australia's Snowy Mountains region was found alive, suffering from exposure and a snake bite, for God's sake. Oh my goodness. Why? Sorry, I just don't understand. Much as it looks like a beautiful place, I just don't understand why people go in these remote and that is a dangerous place to go hiking on your own, especially. It's different if you go in a group. Anyway, so she was reported missing on October the 21st, but was last seen driving her grey Mitsubishi Outlander at 7 a.m. local time on October the 15th in Kosciuszko National Park in New South Wales near the Victoria border. And authorities said the last time anyone had spoken to her was October the 8th. So I bet there was a lot of concern about her welfare. Had she gone to do something to herself? Had she been abducted? Had some foul play happened? There will have been a lot of consternation about what had happened to Lavisa. And then, but the good news was that yesterday, Sunday, Joburg Lavisa was located on the Nunga Creek Trail in Kosciuszko National Park at about 4:50 p.m. by National Parks and Wildlife Service officer. So brilliant. Just great. So anyway, she was treated by the New South Wales ambulance paramedics for a snake bite and exposure at the scene before she was transported to Cooma District Hospital in a stable condition. So she was found dazed and injured, informing responders she was bitten by a copperhead snake 4 days earlier. God, 4 days. So all that time. So it just shows you people can survive a certain amount of time, can't they? So the search launched October the 21st involved officers with the Monroe Police District, along with various local and federal law enforcement agents, as well as members of the public. And we had in excess of 30 people physically in the field every day searching. I'd never seen this on the news before. This is the first time I've seen anything about this. So Lindsay added that Lavisa was very fortunate to be alive. She obviously went through a tough time. She's been found safe and reasonably well. So she won't be 100%, not when she's been bitten by a copperhead snake. Let's have a look at a copperhead snake. God. So here they are, the copperhead snakes. Are they dangerous? The eastern copperhead, a venomous snake, a pit viper. Endemic to eastern North, let's have a look. I'm presuming it's endemic to eastern North America. Is that it, or is there a different one? So this is describing it as an eastern copperhead. I'm presuming it's that. Now, I quite like snakes. I think they're very pretty things. They don't frighten me, but obviously I wouldn't want to come up against a poisonous snake. We have snakes in Spain, but they're not poisonous. They're not venomous, but they get big. I've seen massive snakes in Spain, out in the campo, in the countryside and that, but they, they don't bite generally. They're not poisonous. Oh, here you go, copperhead snake. There it is. There's the culprit. Oh, go away. The copperhead snake. Copperheads have managed to eke out an existence in some of the coldest high rainfall regions of Australia, Riley, where most other snakes would perish. It's a moisture-loving serpent, so there you go. Yeah, so it's easy for a snake, isn't it, to just pop out of the bush and bite you. Gosh. So there you go. Well, she's okay. She's fine. So the good news is she is fine. She's been found safe. She's been bitten by a copperhead snake, taken to hospital. So, you know, we can hope that she's going to make a full recovery. Let's presume she's going to make a full recovery. No, they're venomous. They are venomous. Maybe not deadly venomous. Yeah, maybe. Maybe not. Maybe not. Because being venomous is different from being fatally venomous, I suppose. I mean, I don't know anything about snakes, so I don't know. But maybe she could have died from the bite. But anyway, she didn't. So the main thing is so we're starting off on a positive story. This lady, Lovisa Joberg, 48 years old, found in the snowy mountains after being missing, well, officially missing for a week, but 2 weeks after she was last seen. How long had she been there? So it just shows you, if you've got, I'm presuming she had stuff with her, if there was snow up there, then she's got water. I suppose you could think of that, because it's water, isn't it? If you haven't got water, you can do without food for quite a long time, can't you? But you can't do without water. And yeah, she was lucky out there in the elements. Must have been freezing at night time, mustn't it? Absolutely freezing. Maybe she had a tent with her, you know, we just don't know all those full details. But I just wanted to tell you about that, because I thought it was nice to have a positive story where to show that people can be found safe and well sometimes when it doesn't seem very likely that there will be. But sometimes they can be. So, you know, we have to cling on to that sometimes. Okay, now I think that leads me on to the next thing I just want to update you on, because it's on this actually on the same. Now we had a look, didn't we, at this the suitcase murder trial, as it was known, when Sarah Boone locked her partner Jorge in a suitcase in a drunken night where they'd been drinking. They had a very torrid relationship. Let's see if I can find a picture of both of them rather than just the suitcase. Sarah and Jorge had a very torrid relationship, let's say. And there was a lot of instances of domestic abuse. Why is that coming up like that? There'd been a lot of incidences of domestic abuse from both of them. You know, a lot of domestic abuse reports from both of them, from Sarah and from Jorge. You know, seems like they were, let's put it this way, they weren't exactly the perfect relationship, were they? You know, this is poor Jorge. Jorge is deceased now because she closed him in a suitcase, zipped him into a suitcase, and left him there to die, to slowly suffocate, even though he was pleading for his life. You know, he was telling her, I can't breathe, let me out. You know, there is an actual video of it. And she just left him there. As she said, she was just drunk and she went off to sleep. When she came back, he was deceased. You know, she tried to cover it up. I mean, you know, I'm not being funny, but look at this picture of her smiling here. She doesn't look that bothered, does she? She's a bit of a nutter, basically. And anyway, there's been a verdict. And like she said, it was an accident. I mean, how it was an accident when, you know, somebody's actually saying to you, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. I mean, that bloody policeman who knelt on the guy's neck, and he was part of the reason what he was, how he was prosecuted for and convicted for murder, that policeman with George, is because George was saying, I can't breathe, I can't breathe, and the policeman still carried on leaning on his neck. This woman does exactly the same thing. You know, the poor guy's in the suitcase, he can't breathe, he's begging her to let him out, and she just leaves him there. Now, has she been convicted of murder? No, because she's been convicted of manslaughter. She's been found guilty. Oh no, it is murder, but it's second degree murder. Second degree murder. So a woman accused of leaving her boyfriend to die after he was zipped into a suitcase in their home was found guilty of second degree murder by a jury in Central Florida. Now, it could be that policeman, what's his name, Chauvin or something, Derek, was it? Maybe he was convicted of second degree murder. I'm not sure. But of course it's murder when somebody is asking you, telling you they can't breathe. It's got to be murder, hasn't it, really? Because, you know, you're blatantly ignored, especially when it's been filmed. Like with her, it was filmed with the guy who got on George's neck. That was filmed, so you know you can't deny it because it's there in black and white for people to see. So 4 years after she was arrested in the death of Jorge Torres, jurors handed down the verdict against her on Friday evening after deliberating for about 90 minutes. That's not long, is it? She had pleaded not guilty. Well, again, how could she plead not guilty? She had a video of it. What was she thinking people would think? Of course it was murder. If you're videoing it and just ignoring someone begging for their life and crying that they can't breathe. Anyway, she initially told detectives with the Orange County Sheriff's Office that she and Torres had been playing hide and seek on February the 23rd, 2020 in their Winter Park, Florida residence, when they thought it would be funny for Torres to get into the suitcase. They'd been drinking and she decided to go to sleep, thinking he could get out of the suitcase on his own. Well, she obviously hasn't watched Peter Folding's videos, has she? You know, you can't get in the suitcase on your own, never mind get out of it on your own, she told detectives, according to an arrest report. When she woke up the next morning, she didn't find Torres, but then remembered he was in the suitcase. Now, come on. You know, I know you do forget things when you've been drinking, but do you forget that you've put someone in a suitcase? She unzipped the suitcase and found him unresponsive. And detectives charged Boone with murder after they found videos on her cell phone showing him yelling from inside the suitcase that he couldn't breathe and repeatedly calling out her name. Now, as I say, there were previous incidences of domestic violence in this couple, of both of them, not only him domestic violence towards her, but her domestic violence towards him previously. They had a drink-filled, toxic relationship, you know, that had been, things like this had been going on for years, and this time it just went too far, didn't it, really? Or that's how it feels. Anyway, she testified that past violent incidents between her and Torres caused her to perceive a threat of imminent harm, and she acted in self-defense by keeping him in the suitcase. So she changed her story then from a simple game of hide and seek to saying that she kept him in the suitcase to protect herself. Yeah, that's what you do when you choke me, she said in one of the cell phone videos from that night. That's what I feel like when you cheat on me. So an autopsy report said that Torres had scratches on his back and neck, contusions to his shoulder, skull and forehead from blunt force trauma, as well as a cut near his busted lip. Sarah Boone had gone through several attorneys since her arrest, contributing to the delay in the trial, which lasted 10 days. She's scheduled to be sentenced on December the 2nd. We'll look out for that. And she faces up to life in prison. Well, she should get life in prison, really, shouldn't she? I can't see, what does everybody else think? I can't see that, I can't see that she's going to, I forgot, God, I've completely lost track of what I was saying then. Anyway, she should get life, shouldn't she? She should get life. She's taken his life. She left him in there. She was just ignored his calls for help and everything. So there you go. Look, Quizzical, you're very informed, aren't you? So Quizzical's more informed than me. Minimum sentence, 22.5 years. So that's the minimum, okay. Second degree murder, yeah. Oh, Heather, don't. Do you know what? I've got a feeling that the other day, trouble is I'm always rushing. That's the thing. I'm always rushing and I went to put some petrol in the other day. Anyway, I locked my doors, but then my petrol cap wouldn't come open. It took me ages to realize that the reason my petrol cap wouldn't open is because I had the doors locked. So I had it unlocked. So I opened it. So there was a big kerfuffle with the girl from the petrol station and like, oh God, I can't get my petrol cap open. But anyway, so I got the petrol cap open and then put my petrol in, drove off. And now I think my car's not running very well. And now I'm thinking, I don't know if I put diesel in, which it's supposed to be, or did I put petrol in? Because the car's missing a little bit as it's running, it's starting okay. So that's another nightmare. So I don't know for certain that I did. I'm just thinking, why is the car missing sometimes? And is it because it's gone cold? Because it's really cold now for Spain anyway. So, and I thought, why can't I not specifically remember? Now, I've had this car a little while, but before this car, I had petrol car. So I may have gone for the petrol just because I was rushing. But I can't remember specifically. I haven't got the receipt, Quizzical. I haven't got the receipt. So the receipt's gone. When was it that this was? I think it was Saturday. Wasn't Sunday. It was... See, I can't... All the days have melded into one because there's that much going on at the moment because, as I say, good things, my son's been working and now he's gone from not having, he had a job but online and now he's got 2 jobs now and so I'm the taxi. Yeah. Well, I'm not getting a mechanic in. I'll see what happens. I'm just not going far in it. But anyway, there you go. So that's, sometimes I know, well, most of the time, I run around too much. I'm doing too many things. I've got to stop that. But part of it is just part of me and the way I am. I've always been the same. I'm always, even if I haven't got anything to do, I'll take on something to do. Do you know what I mean? It's my fault, not anybody else's. Sometimes I have to just sort of, take a breath and calm down. I think it's from years of being a single parent and you have to do everything. So you're running around all the time. And now it's a hard habit to break. I need to slow down a little bit. But it just all happened so quick. Now it may not be. I may have put diesel in. It's just occurring to me. I don't know why it just occurred to me, but yes, I might be able to go back to I've thought that, Quizzical. I might be able to go back to the garage. I will have a record on my credit card. Yeah, on my debit card. So I could go back to the garage and ask her to check because if I knew for certain that I'd put petrol in instead of diesel, then I would have to get it sorted. I'm not getting a mechanic out, and I don't even what they're going to do. They just have to drain it and start again. But I don't know for certain that I did so. But that's a good idea. Yeah, I will go back and do that. So that's the second thing that I wanted to tell you about on this Monday morning, the verdict in the Sarah Boone trial, because we did cover that case. I think I've only done one video about it, to be honest, but we did cover it. So I just wanted to let you know what the verdict is, and when we get the sentencing through, I will let you know on December the 2nd when she's sentenced. I hope she gets a big sentence, because the thing is, it's not only what she did, and to be fair, her and Hawkeye, they seem to have been pretty horrible to each other, don't they? But what's got me about Sarah Boone is these smirking in the, I don't think she gives a shit what she's done. She doesn't give a shit about Hawkeye. At the end of the day, Hawkeye's dead, and he didn't deserve to be. Nobody deserves to be zipped in a suitcase and left to smother. It's horrible. But she's like, and she was asking for makeup and having her hair done and this, that, and the other. I think she's really enjoyed all the attention. She's like some sort of psycho. I don't know. That's how it strikes me. I don't like her. I don't like the way she's smirking all over the place. And he had other injuries. I think they've just battered each other for years. It's a drunken relationship they've had. They've probably both been horrible to each other. But even so, I mean, at the end of the day, if it had been Hawkeye who'd locked her in a suitcase and left her to suffocate, it's a different. It makes no difference. It's like domestic violence can be a man against a woman or a woman against a man. It's still disgusting, whoever's doing it. But I feel with this particular couple, they're probably doing it to each other. And it's just a completely toxic relationship. But at the end of the day, she's alive and Hawkeye isn't. So, she deserves a big sentence, let's say, I think. So that was the second thing I wanted to tell you about. So I've got a few bits of news this morning that I wanted to talk to you about. What's the next thing? Yeah. Now, next thing, let me see what. Oh. So we're going to the UK now for the next couple of stories. Now, this was a very sad case that I had seen about this woman going missing. So this is another lady. All these people that go missing, it's so sad. It's so sad. It's so tragic. Obviously, we were covering the case of Victoria Taylor, and that ended very sadly, didn't it? Her body's been found in the river. There'll be an inquest. We don't know the full circumstances of what happened with Victoria Taylor, though the police say no foul play, of course. And maybe not, but, we just don't know what the full circumstances were. But as time goes on, I expect the inquest, etc., will reveal them. Her family don't really want it speculating about, so I'm not going to. Now we've got another lady who disappeared. You just think, it's just so what's going on? This lady, Joanne Jones, 49 years old. I look at her with her doggy and that. This was the last CCTV was seen of her. She was smiling at a passing motorist, and then she disappeared. She went into the woods, and that was it. She wasn't seen again. And now, very sadly, her body has been found, and she's been missing from her home since Monday, October the 21st. So that was last Monday. I hadn't seen about this case before. Otherwise, I probably would have, done a video about it to raise awareness. And so this is Llanwano in Wales. And now she's been found, and again they're saying no suspicious circumstances. So we don't know, in what condition she was found. Her body was found. Has she done something to herself there in the woods? It sounds likely. So she disappeared on Monday while walking towards Woodland, and members of the public were searching, and the police were getting, it's that familiar story, isn't it? Police increasingly concerned for her welfare. So let's follow the timeline. So missing Joanne is seen around 9:45 a.m. on October the 21st in Vale Gardens in Pontypridd. Then dashcam shows her walking on the road towards Innisbill, I can't pronounce Welsh, sorry, at 10:05 a.m. And then where was she seen? Then she was seen near the Briffinen Hotel on Grey Gwen Road at about 12:45. So there's a little bit of distance between these places. And then in St. Gwynno Forest, I bet it's a beautiful forest, the hiker heads towards the Llanwano Forest dressed in walking boots, a raincoat and a rucksack. And so they've been searching for her ever since, and very sadly, she's been found. But formal identification is yet to take place, but Mrs. Jones's family and Her Majesty's coroner have been informed. And Joanne was seen wearing a waterproof jacket, boots, and was carrying a rucksack. So in one of the images, the missing hiker smiled and waved at a passing tourist. And that is the last confirmed sighting of the hiker before she headed towards St. Gwynno Forest. And a huge search was launched involving helicopters, police dogs. God, how often have we heard this? Helicopters, police dogs, drones, and mountain rescue experts. So that's had a very sad conclusion. The 2,644 hectare St. Gwynno Forest is a rugged area, home to a handful of sheep farms, and is a popular beauty spot for walkers and cyclists. And the legendary 18th century runner Guttorm Neath Bran is buried in the St. Gwynno church in the village, where a statue to him stands outside. On Friday, a team of volunteers met at nearby Innisbill Rugby Club, where they were briefed by police on joining in the search. They scoured fields and woods as well as urban areas in the village, and scent dogs and police on horseback also joined the search. Philip Evans, 70, said at the time he wanted to help the community-minded effort. And hours later, the body was found. So she had some nice tributes. They always seem to be such lovely people as well. Look at Victoria Taylor, the tributes that she got. And, it seems like she was loved. And, so that makes it even more mysterious, or these people, are they so unhappy? It's just a tragedy, isn't it? So Helena Worth said she's devastated. I had the pleasure of working with and knowing for many years. Jojo, you were such a beautiful person inside and out. You always had a smile for everyone and nothing was ever too much trouble. So it's like Micah as well, isn't it? Micah Francis in the UK, in the United States. All these people, these are the people we need in the world, not out of the world. These are the people that are needed on this planet, and they decide to take themselves away. It's so sad. Much love to Claire Hodges said, heartbroken to see this update. So much love to Nick, Helen, and the rest of the family and friends, and huge thanks to those working so hard to search for her. And Jane Lissa Hobby said, oh no, Jo is one of the loveliest people I had the pleasure of knowing and working with. Rest in peace, beautiful lady. Condolences to Nick and Jo's family. Anne-Marie Thomas said, such sad news. Joe was the nicest person you could meet. You know, we can't do without these nice people. You know, we need nice people in the world. You know, why don't some of these twonks go and do something to themselves like Stefan Stearns and, you know, other nasty, horrible people? Why is it always these nice people? Her lovely smile would light up any room. Sleep tight. Condolences to all her family. And Catherine Marin said, to all who searched for Joe, supported her family and shared the updates far and wide. Thank you. Very straight. I didn't, you know, normally I get notifications of these kind of things because they sort of fit in probably into the algorithm of things that I've done, like about Nicola Bulley, etc., and Gaynor Lord and Victoria Taylor, but I didn't see this. Otherwise, I would have definitely talked about, tried to raise awareness when she was being searched for. But yeah, there you go. Very sad. So, yep, a candle for her, and I hope that she's with all these other lovely people that decide to take themselves from this world. You know, sometimes I think people are too good for this world, aren't they? They're too sensitive. I'm not saying that as a bad thing. Sorry, I'm just lighting a candle. I'm just saying they can't cope with this world. It's not easy to cope with. You have to really learn how to close down, you know, to shield yourself psychically from twonks, don't you? Horrible people and horrible events that go on in the world. You do have to be able to shield yourself. And if you can't shield yourself, it's quite difficult, isn't it? And so there she is. Yep. Bless her. So it just reminds me of Victoria going off with her rucksack and, you know, anyway. So I just wanted to pay respects to that lady. Oh, thank you for putting candles up and everything. So now the next thing we're going to talk about, I can see have you already mentioned it? Yeah, always put allegedly. Because this is the next thing that we're going to talk about. Who is this person that's been arrested? Are you talking about the soap star? The soap star this is, isn't it? Who's been arrested, a UK soap star. Let's have a look at them. We'll take Joanne off there while we talk about we're going to start talking about a twonk now. You know, like, why don't the twonks go off into the woods and not come back? That's what I want to know. It's always these lovely people. But anyway. Right. Let me put a few windows down. It's a soap star, isn't it? Who's been arrested? If that's what you were all talking about in chat, I imagine it was. So, a TV soap actor arrested on suspicion of sex abusing 5 underage boys. Police swarmed the star's home after multiple accusations were made. So a TV soap opera. Now, I don't watch soaps really, but I do, you know, I see things that pop up on the news, etc. So the police have swarmed the actor's home before they arrested the suspect, who cannot be named. Now, this is going to be Hugh Edwards all over again, isn't it? Everyone is going to be speculating who is it. That's human nature. There's no point in saying don't speculate. People are going to speculate. You know, you just got to look at the reality of things. You talk about a famous soap star, television actor, who is understood to have a major role in a popular series. You know, obviously people are going to speculate. So apparently this person has denied the allegations and has since been released on bail. An officer seized computers and documents while looking for evidence in relation to the alleged crimes while carrying out the arrest. And apparently they visited the actor's home earlier this month following claims of pedophilia put together. So, who is it? Anybody know? So this is a soap actor. Household name. Has anybody got any ideas about this? Yeah. It says a soap opera. So that's in Britain, soap operas. That's going to be Coronation Street, EastEnders, Emmerdale. What others are they going to be? I wondered if it might be. Well, allegedly there have been accusations against soap actors before, haven't there? One particular soap actor from Coronation Street, who's been it for donkey's years. I won't mention his name. He's had allegations before, hasn't he? But I don't think it was against boys. So this is allegations against boys, isn't it? So he's been arrested but released on bail. Do you know who I'm talking about? Yeah, exactly, Heather. I think with the guy I was talking about before, it was women or girls, whereas this is boys. Now I know. Are they still in the soap? You know, just what I mean. They go mad and everyone's speculating. It's terrible, but when you give people like little hints, of course people are going to speculate. I mean, that's just human nature, isn't it? How can you not speculate? This, to me, it just reminds me of Hugh Edwards all over again. And in the end, they're going to have to release a name sooner or later, because otherwise everybody will be getting accused. And I'm thinking about someone with boys in particular, you know, that I've just no idea, to be honest. The only person I would have thought of is that one that I thought of before, because I know he's been in trouble before, but that was definitely women, girls, not boys. So no idea. The guy who was brought back to play Gail's husband and then chucked off in Corrie. Who was that? I haven't got a clue. Trouble is, I don't watch the soaps either, so I haven't actually got a clue. But imagine if it was someone, allegedly, someone, it could be someone that we wouldn't even, you know, we've never even thought of, you know, that you wouldn't think. Could be someone who's married with 5 kids and, you know, a bit like Hugh Edwards. Could be another Hugh Edwards scenario. Who makes cheese? What? Who makes cheese? So, right, I'm going to have a look on Twitter, because on Twitter, normally they start naming people, even, you know, because they don't seem to care on Twitter about who it is. Let's have a look, see if I can find anything. Because it was on Twitter that they were naming Hugh Edwards before Hugh Edwards was even named. I think I've worked out who the 90s, so it's a 90s soap star apparently. So they may not be in it anymore. Gale Force. They're saying on Twitter, they're saying Gale Force wins. Yes, Gale Force wins, whatever that means. So this is 5 underage boys is accused of assaulting And these allegations date back to the 90s when the suspect worked with Britain's most famous stars in a number of TV shows. So it says he worked with Britain's most famous stars in a number of TV shows. Who the hell is it? I'm seeing if there'll be somebody somewhere I'll have thrown a name about. But somebody's made a comment here and said, well, they said Jesus Christ. So sorry, no offense. It wasn't me who said it. It's this person. You can't turn anywhere without more nonsense popping up. Literally, TV is run by nonsense. It does feel like that sometimes. You feel like TV is just full of abuse, isn't it? Be it Granada, BBC, it doesn't matter. They're all at it. So people are saying, I bet it was a BBC soap opera. Oh, dear me. So somebody here is saying, let's narrow it down. It has to be the BBC and therefore EastEnders. Do you know what's occurring to me? What if it was I think this is going to turn out to be someone you would never think of in a million years. I've got a name in my head. I don't know that it's them. I'm just saying it's just a name. I've got a reason for it as well, for thinking this, but I can't mention them. Got to sound like Mark Williams Thomas now, don't I? Can't reveal my sources, can't mention it. But because I've got absolutely I'm not claiming that I've got any evidence. I'm just talking about a feeling. And just from what people are saying, it makes sense. But I don't know. And there's another reason that I've got for thinking this, but I can't name them. Someone's saying it could be Hollyoaks. I haven't got a clue about Hollyoaks. This is what you're talking. So this other one is, yes, Gail's husband. One of Gail's many husbands stepped down for personal reasons. Oh, that's interesting. So he was supposed to return because she's leaving the soap, isn't she? Helen Worth, Gail, is leaving Coronation Street, and he was supposed to return to the screen this October. I won't name him, but I think you all know who he is. She's leaving after 50 years. No, I must say, Gail Worth, Helen Worth. I remember, I'm old enough to remember when she literally first came into Coronation Street. And she was like the teenager, wasn't she? There was a couple of teenage actors. And I remember that's when I was watching. That's how long ago it was when I was watching Coronation Street. So he stepped down. Oh, I wonder if it is him then. Oh, interesting. So I wonder if if that's true, and of course we don't know that it's true, there it is him. Oh, David, that's brave. I don't think it's Del Boy. No, because he's not he's not in soap operas. Put it this way, one of you has mentioned the name of the person who it's thought to be. I wonder if what's happened, if it's true there is that person, when it was heard. Now you imagine if you were a person like one of those 5 boys who's been abused years ago, and he's dropped out of the he's off the screens and what. This again is a bit like Hugh Edwards, isn't it? The parents of that boy that Hugh Edwards had been asking for photos, etc. They'd been to the BBC and complained, and then they got really annoyed because then they saw him getting an award on telly after they'd been and said what he'd been doing. So that's how that all came out. And it makes you wonder if what's happened here is they've seen he's coming back. He's coming back into the series and thought, because they'll be older now. If that happened in the 90s and they were young boys, now what will they be, in their 30s maybe or whatever, or even older, and thought, oh, I'm not having that. Is my abuser coming back? And, so they may have gone to ITV or whatever, I don't know. Well, he might not be a big star now, Heather, but he was, wasn't he? He was. So anyway, so apparently he was due to come back to the screens, one of Gail's previous husbands, and then before this announcement came out, apparently he went to have a meeting with the bosses and he was taken off. The storyline was cancelled, so they had to think of another way of how Gail's going to go out. Brian Tilsley was the mechanic, wasn't he? Brian Tilsley was the mechanic. Didn't he die, though? Oh, God, I'm wrong. He died in the soap. Let's have a look. Christopher Quinton. Let's see where he is now. Oh. Now, he was in an episode of Hollyoaks. So he was in an episode of Hollyoaks. He has been in other soaps as well. Anyway, apparently in 2016, it was reported that he worked at Stringfellow's erotic nightclub in London. Well, of course, Peter Stringfellow, he's deceased now as well, isn't he? So he started his career as a dancer, Christopher Quinton, and he was in it. Oh, he was in International Velvet. He was in various TV series, Quatermass, Hazel, and then he got the job at Coronation Street. It says here that he was popular in the 80s. Now, it said on the articles that he was popular. This person was popular in the 90s. So, yeah, he went to America to marry his fiancée, who was a talk host. And his character was killed off, wasn't it? He was stabbed to death by a gang of teenagers. Oh, Cutting Edge, Coronation Street. Let's see. Oh, he divorced that lady and he married somebody else in 1992. He's divorced again. He's been in little bit parts of soap operas, Doctors. He had a guest role in Doctors. He's worked as an after dinner speaker. He's been in Panto, Comic Relief. And it says, so in April 2020, he appeared in an episode of Hollyoaks. So in 2019, he became engaged to his dancer girlfriend, who's only 21. She was only 21 when they got engaged. He's quite a lot older than that. He's older than me, so he's really old. He's 67. What? So he's 67 and he's just got engaged in 2019 to a 21-year-old. Well, there's no law against that, I suppose. So maybe not him. I'm thinking maybe not him. I don't know. That's the Brian Tilsley character. The Brian Tilsley character. Hi, Dottie. Yeah, we're trying to work out who it is, Dottie. We don't know is the answer. We're going on they've told everybody not to speculate, but of course everyone's speculating. We're going on personally, the current sort of favourite, if you like, for it to be is someone from Coronation Street who was once married to Gail Platt. But we don't know for certain. And I was just saying earlier, this is going to be just like the Hugh Edwards thing. Everybody trying to, work out who it is. Then we've got somebody, so I'm going through Twitter. Some people are saying Del Boy. Oh dear. People making jokes saying it's Albert Tatlock. Sorry, that just appeals to my sense of humour. So basically, we don't know. Though I think, I think favourite is probably Gail's ex-husband, but yeah. Oh my God! There's all sorts. We don't know. Basically, is the end at the end of it. JT. I don't know who JT is. I'm crap with initials. Anyway, we'll keep an eye on this story. I think this will end up going. Thing is, as soon and this is the mainstream media that's doing this. Don't forget, social media will there'll be all the blame on the social media. All these names whizzing around social media. But if the mainstream media hadn't mentioned it in the first place, like the Sun that I saw it in, or it's probably been on all sorts of news things now. If the mainstream media didn't mention it in the first place, the social media wouldn't pick it up. Do you know what I mean? So we'll get the blame. Social media will get the blame. But it's the mainstream media that are putting it out there, this story that someone's been arrested without naming who it was. It's like Hugh Edwards all over again. So anyway. Okay, so now BF. I want to say something to BF, see if she knows about something. Hang on. Oh, I might have to do it another time. I'm running out of time. Anyway, so thanks for watching. I expect we'll find out sooner or later who this person is. If I hear anything definite, obviously I will let you know. No, so let me see. Right. Let me just show BF this, if I can find it. Let's see. Seems to have disappeared. That's strange as well. Sorry, bear with. Right, I don't know if you saw BF on Lancashire Live. I can't find it now. But there's been a little spat between Rebecca Ramsey, who is a lady who lost her son in a drowning incident. And she does a lot of campaigning about, water safety, etc. Little spat between her and Peter Folding on Twitter. Did you know about it? But in the article, which I can't, is that you that's mentioned in the article that I can't find? Because they mention you, Blank Faces UK or something, or Blank Faces Live. But anyway, I can't find it. I'll find it. Apparently it was on Twitter, was it? They were having a bit of a thing. So, doesn't care who he upsets, does he, at the end of the day? Peter Folding, so he's blocked her. So, surprise, surprise. He had a... No, they definitely, man. Let me just try once more, see if I can find it. I should tag these things. Oh, I might have found it. Hang on. Yeah. Right, let me read it to you then. I'm going to put it up. So I found it. Campaigner who lost her child hits out at Nicola Bulley search diver over insensitive comments. Well, that's not like him, is it? A mum who's been campaigning for water safety ever since her son died over a decade ago, has hit out at search diver who helped with the Nicola Bulley case. Chorley mum Rebecca Ramsey. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think, didn't she complain about the coroner as well? Wasn't she not very happy about her treatment by James Aidley as well? Anyway, she lost her 13-year-old son Dylan in July 2011 when he was swimming at Hilltop Quarry in Whittley Woods near Chorley and suffered cold water shock. Bless him. So she's took umbrage to something that Peter had said. So ever since his tragic death, she's used her grief as a platform to relentlessly campaign in schools, educating more than 18,000 young people on water safety and setting up the Doing It for Dylan Foundation in 2021 with former Olympic swimmer Sharon Davis. Her tireless efforts have seen her win numerous awards, including Petition Campaign of the Year at the UK Parliament Awards, and she's even attended a garden party at Buckingham Palace. And the one that means the most is that teaching water safety will now become a statutory part of the national curriculum. However, one person that recently got on her bad side is forensic search specialist Peter Folding, who also helped search for Nicola Bulley. The pair have entered into a war of words on social media platform X after he praised the Surrey SAR team for helping search for a missing man whose boat capsized in the River Thames over a week ago. However, he added that the missing man could have been located on day one if sonar equipment and divers had been deployed. In other words, him, he means, doesn't he? Rebecca, who now claims he has stopped her from following him on social media platform X, because that's what he always does. He just blocks anyone who says anything, queries anything he says. Questioned his tweet at the time, saying, how could he say for certain that this would be the case? Responding to his tweet, she said, "How on earth can you say that a person would have been found day one with any certainty, especially with how challenging water search is? No one can say that with certainty. So insensitive." She added, "Did you think about the family before posting this? Or did you just see pound signs?" Responding to her message, he simply put a link to 6-year-old Lucas Dobson. This is what he's always, because this is his, his flagship thing, isn't it? The life belts for Lucas Dobson with Debbie Davis, who slipped into the River Stour in Sandwich on August the 17th, 2019 and drowned. This sparked even so his answer to her saying that was just sending that link to Lucas Dobson. He didn't even answer it in a normal way with a comment or, "Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to upset you. That's what tends to happen." There's a million other ways he could have dealt with that, isn't there? A million other ways, more respectful, more sensitive. No, he just put in a link about Lucas Dobson. So this sparked even more anger on Rebecca's part as she questioned his morals for bringing a grieving family into the argument. Retaliating, he responded, "I'm not sure what your fight is with me. We have helped and continue to help." This is what he said. Hang on. "We have helped and continue to help many families of drowning victims." Now, this is where it mentions UBF, retweeting the heated exchange screenshotted by Rebecca, which has now been taken down by him, because that's the other thing he does. He manipulates his social media, doesn't he? Blank Faces UK. Is that you, is it? I don't know. Is that you, or is there another Blank Faces UK? I don't know. Queried how many people he had rescued. And responding to both parties, Rebecca hit back, "It's all about the money." Gosh, we've been saying that for ages. Egos and money. No thought for families' feelings. He wants to be the top dog of recovery, because let's be honest, he doesn't do much or any rescue with his fancy kit, does he? Just wondering. So there you go. There's a grieving mother who's angry with him. Now, he always refers to the Lucas Dobson thing. And, any help he is doing, any awareness that he is giving to water death is always going to be good, isn't it? But it's interesting, isn't it? It's interesting that it's reported in the Lancashire Post as well, because, they can be a bit sort of thingy. And then that Rebecca Ramsey would feel fit to say that about him. Look, something else I just want to say. Did you see the headlines whizzing around then? Soap star arrested for child sex offences. Star's stepson dies by suicide. Star too ill for sex assault case. Motorway closed after serious crash. No wonder we're all depressed. This is the news. TV star being found dead at home. Soap star found dead in car. For God's sake. Is this... anyway. So, yeah. Did you not see that? Yeah, that's you, isn't it? Yes, Dottie, he is. He is fake and full of himself. Now he's been called out by an actual grieving mother who knows a little bit about, losing your family in water. He's been called out for what he really is, and he don't like it. So what he's done, blocked her, deleted. He's saying that. Honestly, it was so good. Like you say, go, Rebecca. Tell him. Because the thing is, it's all right us saying things about him, and people just, every time I say anything bad about Peter Folding, to be fair, most people agree with me these days. But, when I first started questioning Peter and his motives, I've taken a lot of flack for it. And, you know, at the end of the day, I think it'll always come down to either you believe Peter or you don't, you know. And I did believe Peter. And, you know, the more I find out about Peter Folding, the worse it gets. And his association with Mark Williams Thomas. And so it's all right. Also, you know, we say it and people go, oh, you're just being, you know, being horrible to Peter, and Peter this and Peter that. Peter can walk on water. Well, he can't. And in fact, he's not even good at anything that he does. You know, he's years ago, Peter and Mark Williams Twonk, they were in this unholy alliance with Martin Brunt. You know, social media has ruined that for them. And they don't like it, and they've got nasty about it. You know, he was totally out of order. And then, yeah, BF got a mention in dispatches. So there you go. That's interesting, isn't it? So, oh, thank you, Dottie. Peter Folding. Yeah. Oh, somebody's jumped in and said, yeah. So there you go. You know, all the time we get to find out a bit more about Peter, don't we? And it's just, you know, just confirms what I already thought. But, you know, there'll always be some people that still think the sun shines out of him. But, you know, if they're not seeing the truth now, I don't know when they'll ever see it. But yeah, he would. Yeah, I think that needs posting. Well, I can't post it on his social media because I'm blocked. I mean, I can still read his social media, but I don't put my head above the parapet. He won't even know who I am on his social media. But now, because I've learned that if I make a comment, he'll just block me. So, but it needs posting on his social media. Is this true, Peter? You know, is this true? Have you got any comments to make, Peter? I tell you, whoever does that, they'll get blocked, because even a lot of his fans have been blocked now because they're querying why he hasn't, you know, why he never went to America. I mean, do you know what? I think he probably did take his sonar images to America, but they probably said, what? You know, that's not a body. You know, well, you don't have to be a sonar expert to see that. And now, of course, over on Twitter, there's someone there who claims to have proven conclusively, that, you know, even Peter knows it's not Nicola. So, you know, at the end of the day, I've sort of gone past that. But, you know, that was interesting, wasn't it? And I just wanted, when I saw you, when I read it, I thought, oh, BF might know about that. And then I thought, just seeing you on there, I thought I'd just see if you do know. But yeah, he would hate that. He would hate that. He'd be going mad. He will be going mad about that. But, you know, that's it. It's one thing he'll have learned from that. He's got to be careful what he says. It's not only YouTubers that are going to pull him up. And he'll always try and discredit YouTubers and this, that and the other. But this is someone, you know, a grieving mother. Look at the way he's treated her. He should have got into an open conversation with her. You know, he doesn't know how to deal with criticism. He won't talk about it, not even with somebody like that, with Rebecca. You know, I don't blame him for not talking to a YouTuber about, well, he talked to one YouTuber about, he'll only talk to a YouTuber that agrees with everything he says. But he wouldn't talk to a YouTuber who would question anything. But Rebecca, he should have spoken to. You know, I've got this feeling that there was something with the coroner as well with Rebecca, but it may not have been her. It may have been another case. But anyway. Okay, so I'm off. Hope you all have a good day or a good afternoon or a good evening, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. You know, we have to make the most of every day. And so sad for people that are lost, you know, like some of the people that we've talked about recently, you know, they're lost, aren't they, in this world? This world's hard to cope with sometimes. And, you know, sometimes people just want to remove themselves from it because they can't cope with it anymore. Personally, you know, I understand that, but I don't think I don't think you get away with it like that. I think you get thrown back to do it all again personally. But anyway, so we lost some nice people, these sensitive souls. It's a shame, isn't it? We could do with losing some more twonks. And talking of twonks, tonight in Members Live. So thank you to Dottie for subscribing. Anyone else who's out there, if you're not subscribed, please think about subscribing. It's completely free. Please like the video, leave your DNA on the fingerprint button. And tonight is Members Live, and we're going to talk about a twonk. We're going to talk about the Delphi murders and Richard Allen. Did he do it? You know, so many people are thinking that maybe he didn't do it, the Delphi murders, poor Abby and Libby. But he did confess 61 times to these murders till his wife told him to stop talking. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to look at a Nancy Grace podcast that she did. Very interesting. And, you know, I don't know if Richard Allen did it or not. That's what the trial's for. The jurors will decide that. But very interesting now, all the evidence coming out, etc. Okay, so I'll see you soon in the next video. And until then, as always, may your God go with you.